So welcome everybody to session 28A. This is a session for the special track that is called Immersive Learning Across Latin America. My name is Jorge Bacca, and I am the chairperson for this session. Please remember that this session is being recorded. This session was proposed as a special track in this prominent conference in iLRN2023 with the purpose of showing the research or disseminating the research we are doing in Latin America. And the original, I have to say that the original idea behind this session comes from Ana Sol, who is also here and who is part of the network. So thank you, Ana Sol, for the opportunity to also propose this session, being part of the iLRN conference with a Latin American session. So for the presenters in this session, please remember that you will have a total of 15 minutes for your presentation, plus 5 minutes for questions. I will let you know when you have 3 minutes left and then 1 minute left of the time for your presentation. And if we have time at the end of the session, we can, of course, continue with the discussion with the presenters to address more questions. So if we are ready to start, I would like to move to our first presenter. So I'm going to start to stop sharing my screen so that André, if you want, you can share your screen, please, or your presentation, and let me do a small introduction. Our first presentation is a review of Immersivity in distance higher education STEM subjects by André Roberto Guerra from Brazil. So welcome, André. And so the floor is yours. And so please go ahead.
Thank you so much, my friends, my new friends. Hello, everybody. Olá a todos. Eu sou André Roberto Guerra. I'm from Brazil. I'm from Curitiba, Paraná. If you don't know, Curitiba, Paraná is a state in south of Brazil, near from Paraguay, Argentina, a frontier of these other countries. Curitiba is the capital of Paraná, and I'm studying in PhD. I'm a PhD researcher. I just finally my doctor degree, but I don't have the title because the bureaucracy of documents is very normal in Brazil, in here. Thank you so much for everybody to watch my little short paper, because my great work is my PhD thesis. But in this time and in a few days in person, face-to-face in San Luis Obispo in California, I will talk about the immersivity in higher distance education. Specifically in STEM subjects, in computer science subjects, because Brazil is a very enormous, is very big country, like a continent country. And we have these problems said in presentation before. For example, the connective. A connective in Brazil is a very, very big problem because a lot of places don't have enough access. For example, in Brazil, we have a good number of internet active users, around 85%. But these 85% have access in mobile 3 generation. 3. If you can understand about the speed, you understand the limits of 3G. And teachers and professors and other ways and other professionals that need to use these tools cannot use because the population don't have the minimum resources of access. Okay, but now I need to talk about my work. And this work, the success of a systematic literature review, SLR, is a clear and a new or a big research question. What's the biggest? Yes, what's the added value or what's the benefits of using immersive, virtual, augmented, and extended reality in studies, teaching, and learning STEM subjects for a computer science in online distance education mode? Why in higher education, distance education mode? Because I'm working in UNINTER. UNINTER is an international university. And nowadays, we have around 1 million students. Yes. For example, just in this time now, May 23, we have around 100 students in computer science disciplines. And this is a very big number of students. And this company, UNINTER, can improve this research to get this learning in distance. After COVID-19 pandemic, we have a lot of new students came from another universities. And these another universities don't have the platform, the infrastructure of online education. And these expertise, these abilities, these skills of education and distance education can be used to know or to show the new technologies like VR, like AR, like another ways to access. And this work is exploring the immersive learning across Latin America, because Brazil is the biggest country of South America. And a great part of Brazil is a frontier of Latin America. This is a very relevant element of this research, okay? Let's go. The concept of immersive through the challenge, follow engagement, stimulus, narrative, absorption, the story, but the most important is the tool, is the great part of study of André's D'Angelo, or Andy in this community. The sense of presence and degree of subjective impression of being there, being a place, stay here. On last presentation, when talk about chaves, in Brazil, this person is chaves. When talk about this, we talk about being of presence, sense of presence, sense of being there, stay there. Through augmented audiovisual elements and instrument environment, that reacts to user screens and headphones, haptic feedback, and other ways, and or other digital ways to stay there. Let's, well, oh, okay, I have Houston, we have a little problem. My goal of this work is to create experiences by involving the participants in different sensory, cognitive, and emotional levels while making the question their own reality. Remember, the reality of Brazil, the reality of Latin American guys is very different from people, students from Europe, from North America. Yes, it's very different because we have another problems that anybody knows. Okay, and other way or new questions about this research, talking about this figure, this scenario, the research model for investigating the influence of VR characteristics on learning outcomes. This figure is from Andreas Dengel, Andy, PhD thesis, okay? In the blue boxes, we talk about learn threat and threat effects, like context motivation, cognitive abilities. In green boxes, we talk about learners' states and state effects, like achievement emotions and sense of presence. In yellow is the new tool, the new thing to get the presence, the immersion, supply media and media effects, like vividness and interactivity. And in purple, the end of the stage is learn outcomes. When we talk about context motivation, we talk about intrinsic motivation, identified motivation, introjected motivation, external motivation, anything about motivation to learning, to outcoming learning, okay? When we talk about cognitive abilities, we talk about intelligence, competence, learning strategies, reflective thinking, skills, okay? We have one time in one box a context motivation, in other box we have the cognitive abilities for this get motivation. The emotions, we talk about positive activating and deactivating, and negative activating and negative deactivating, because we have any storyboards in your brain. The sense of presence is the physical presence. Smell the flavors around the place, feeling the temperature, weather, and other ways to physical presence, to do the things that we can touch. We can touch in real things, in physical presence things. But we have the sense of presence with social presence, like here. In a few days, we can see we together in the same place in Cal Poly, in San Luis Obispo. This is a social presence. And the self-presence. Self-presence is, I think, like I can go there, I can stay there. In the final process, the goal is learning outcomes, the knowledge, the compression, application, analysis, synthesis, evaluation of process, learning process. This is the best of this work this RSL. How does my online teaching experience on STEM subjects at UNINTER Polytechnic School and in certified courses since 2005 fit into this research? Like I said in last slides, I talk about research, I talk about the learning across Latin America, across Brazil, is around today, nowadays, around 100,000 students in certified courses or in STEM subjects of polytechnical school. This experience, this motivation in distance higher education can be used to this new moment, new technology of education. In learning, this work goals of virtual learning environments, immersive learning experience, enriching educational experience, deep engagement with content, development of technical skills, of creative skills, of problem-solved skills, like a PBL disciplines, observation of virtual learning benefits, like other tools present in other days like yesterday, and application of findings to this research and another researches, okay? On last 3 minutes, I talk about research methodology. I used the DSR, Design Science Research, plus a system literature review. DSR is an overview of design science research, and SLR is understand the significance of systematic literature review about this research. The synergy of two methods, DSR and SLR, combining methodologies of rigorous investigation, conducting and comprehensive studies like methodological insights, and findings, uncovering significance through the combined approach, implication, and application, utilizing the results for practical and theoretical advancements. The findings is these three theses, these three PhD theses, Andreas Dengel, Saruni B. Baseviciuti, and Ryan Buchhammer. These three researchers talking about these elements, the effects of immersion and presence of learning outcomes in immersive educational virtual environments for computer science education is my best work. Other work is designing virtual reality for learning. And the other one is stemming elementary school education, evaluating a STEAM and augmented reality professional development workshop for education, for us. And the future's directions objective is distancing teaching of STEM subjects. The other steps is testing various tools, hardware, software tools, focusing IT courses at UNINTER Polytechnic, exploring research questions and areas of interest, enhanced distance teaching of STEM subjects, and the use of virtual reality and augmented reality in education. The use of XR for learning, the benefits of XR in learning, immersion in engagement, exploring the potential of XR for distance education, effective strategies for implementing XR in distance education, and other contributions to research the innovative approaches. Thank you so much for this space, for this time, for my presentation. And if anybody have any question, I'm ready for answer our questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, André. Is there any question from the audience? Okay, thank you. Okay, Cynthia, please go ahead.
Hello, André. I'm in
Hi,
Curitiba. Hi, nice to hear your speech. I'd like to know if you have any ideas of experiences that would be more important for students in distance education.
Bom, well, I believe you are Brazilian too.
Yeah.
The name is very common. Bom, Cynthia, the experience in higher distance education in UNINTER give the expertise, give the goals to development the new techniques to learning process, but the learning process is very general things. For example, in my area, we can use the virtual labs to do the exercises. For example, in network appliances, we can use the Cisco labs, and we can do the many situations, a lot of real situations, local, in a virtual place. In this virtual place, we cannot life experience negatives. For example, if you use this real scenario, you will stop the internet connection of the area to get the test.
Okay.
In a virtual lab, you can use the same place, the same tools, the same devices, the same reality to do the real thing, the real task, without any other problems of reality.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
This element is very high, explained by André D'Angel in the PhD thesis, in her PhD thesis.
Well, thank you, André, and thank you, Cynthia, for your question. Good. Thank you very much. If there any other question, you can write it in the chat, and if you have time, if we have time at the end of the session, we can discuss. So I think that we would need to move to the next presentation. The next presentation is actually my presentation. So well, let me share my presentation. Good. Well, I'm going to do the presentation in English, I think, so that it can be easier for all of us to understand. The title of this presentation is Emotional and Cognitive Empathy, Enjoyment, and Ease of Use of a Virtual Reality Environment about Migration in Colombia. My name is Jorge. I am Associate Professor at the Fundación Universitaria Konrad Lorenz in Bogotá. And well, so let me move to the next slide. Well, as an introduction, there is a large body of literature on the effectiveness of VR or virtual reality to elicit empathy. In fact, in 2015 or in 2015, Chris Milk used the expression the ultimate empathy machine to refer to the possibilities of VR to create empathy. Of course, this expression has been very controversial, and there are some papers against this this expression, but well, there is a large debate around the possibilities of VR as the ultimate empathy machine. But well, in general, empathy is defined as the ability to vicariously experience the emotional states of others, and it is crucial in many forms of adaptive social interaction. Empathy is divided into two components or two dimensions. One of these dimensions is emotional empathy, and the other is the cognitive empathy. Regarding emotional empathy, this is the human ability to share the emotions of others. And on the other hand, regarding cognitive empathy, this is to understand the emotions and feelings reported by other people. So these are the basic two dimensions of empathy. And there are some approaches or some there is some research around using VR in the field of migration. For instance, in this study by Jones and Sommer, they compared a VR environment versus reading an article about migration, in particular in immigration in the US border. And the conclusion was that there is no significant difference between the use of virtual reality and a printed text on the subject. So in order to create empathy about migration, in this case, there are no differences between using a VR environment and reading an article. Another study is concluded that 360-degree video showing a documentary, and in particular the documentary Clouds Over Sidra, through virtual reality generates higher levels of empathy than a traditional video. So in this case, the 360-degree video showed better results. We also have another study that concluded that 360-degree virtual reality video have a positive but short-term effect on emotional empathy when compared to control conditions, which is reading a text in terms of emotional empathy. But no significant difference was found on cognitive empathy. So these are the main studies around migration, refugees, or similar studies to the field that we are working on, which is migration in virtual reality. So the problem is that despite the amount of research done on empathy in VR, there is a lack of research on creating empathy toward migrants in VR. We decided to focus on this subject and in this problem because here in Colombia, we have more than 1.8 million people that have left Venezuela and moved to Colombia due to the crisis in Venezuela. And of course, many people that have moved also to other cities or other countries in Latin America. So the topic of empathy in this case is very important because many people are arriving here to Colombia and to our countries. So creating empathy about migrants and understanding what they experience through this process of migration is quite a lot important, in particular also for students. So the current study, what we did was to develop two virtual reality environments for the Quest VR headset using the Unity video game engine. The first application, we call it an immersive virtual reality environment. You can see a couple of pictures of this environment here. The main idea of this environment is to work as a gallery in which you can see some pictures of migrants on the walls, and there are also a couple of large screens in the walls of this gallery that shows a couple of videos with stories of migrants, Venezuelan migrants, coming to Colombia. And the second VR environment, we call it non-immersive VR environment, basically because users cannot move around the environment is like a static VR environment in which the only thing that you can basically do is to look around and read the story about the migrants in VR. So using a text such as the one that you can see in this slide. And so we did a quasi-experimental research study with 47 participants, 25 from the Faculty of Mathematics and Engineering in our university, and 22 from the Faculty of Psychology. And we used an 18-item Likert scale instrument, basically to measure cognitive empathy, emotional empathy, the technology acceptance, in particular the perceived ease of use and enjoyment. And well, regarding the results, on emotional empathy, a t-test showed that psychology students have a greater emotional empathy when compared to engineering students. So basically we compared the levels of empathy created by this VR environment, comparing engineering students with psychology students. And of course, psychology students got better levels of emotional empathy. But regarding cognitive empathy, we didn't find significant differences between the two groups in terms of cognitive empathy. Cognitive empathy is related to perspective taking. So a possible interpretation of the results might be that despite the fact that the participants were in VR, so they were in an immersive learning environment, they were not embodied in the person, in the migrant story. So they were just spectators. So for that reason, maybe the levels of cognitive empathy were not higher. Regarding enjoyment, a significant difference was found between psychology students who used the immersive virtual reality environment and those who used the non-immersive one. And the significant difference was in favor of the group of students who used the immersive environment. This shows that, of course, when you are in VR in an immersive, in a completely immersive environment, and if you have the opportunity to interact with the objects or move around the environment, this is, of course, more interesting for students, and for that reason, we think that they rated better the immersive environment. Then let me see. Let me move to the next slide. Well, so regarding the perceived ease of use, the results shows that there is a significant difference between the perceived ease of use of the immersive application. The perceived ease of use is higher in the immersive application compared to the non-immersive application. And this is very interesting because in the immersive VR environment, you have to move, you have to learn how to move in the environment. You have to learn how to use the VR controllers. So it might be, maybe we can think that this could be a little bit more difficult than the non-immersive VR environment, but the results show that the students perceive it that the environment was easy to use, and this is good when compared to the non-immersive VR environment. And some conclusions. Well, from this study, we got this information. Psychology students showed higher levels of emotional empathy when compared to engineering students using a VR environment with stories about Venezuelan migration to Colombia. No significant differences in terms of cognitive empathy were found between the two groups. So this is also a good opportunity to extend this study and see if embodiment might change the perceptions of cognitive empathy, which involves perspective taking. So this could be a future research direction. And regarding the perception of enjoyment, a significant difference was found in psychology students who use the immersive virtual reality environment when compared to the non-immersive one, with better results, of course, in the immersive virtual reality environment. And finally, the results show that the immersive VR environment was perceived as easier to use when compared to the non-immersive one. And this could be also an opportunity to extend research and see why some students perceive this environment as easier to use when compared to the other one. Here are some references that I cited, in particular the 3 studies related to the field of migration. Some of the studies were created using, as I mentioned before, 360-degree videos. And in the research that we are doing now, we are trying to create VR environments that show these stories of migrants and see if they can be better in creating empathy when compared to other media. And thank you very much for your attention. If you have any question, please feel free to ask. Here are my contact information. Thank you. If you have any question, please go ahead.
I have a question. Thank
Sure.
you, Jorge, for the presentation.
Thank you.
From what I understood, you are not using embodiment, so it's not a first-person experience. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, students.
Yeah, sorry.
No, I just wanted to say that the students started the application and they can move in the gallery and basically hear the stories of other migrants, in particular 2 stories of other migrants. That's in this situation in the immersive VR environment. And in the non-immersive VR environment, they just can read the story. So yeah, embodiment was not considered in this study yet.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, just wondering why you didn't consider it from the beginning, but I think you already answered that question. I was also asking, let me look at my notes. So the psychology students had a better response to the immersive application, the immersive experience. Do you have any comment on why that might have been?
Yes, we were talking about this is the picture that shows that result. Yes, we were talking with the teachers. I have to say also that some of the authors of these studies, some of my colleagues come from the Faculty of Psychology. They are psychologists, and the interpretation was that psychology students are from the social sciences, come from the social sciences, and so they are more prepared to respond in a more empathetic way. So for that reason, they show greater emotional empathy. I mean, they can be more moved by the stories and the situations. They can understand in a better way the emotions of the other people. So for that reason, they reflected higher emotional empathy when compared to engineering students. So engineers are more come from another area. So their levels of emotional empathy are not so high. So that was the interpretation of this result.
Okay, yeah, that it will be interesting to see the follow-up once you have the embodiment, to see if that changes, if that puts the engineering students in a different position to be able to be more, to have more empathy. But yeah, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's the next step in this study. Thank you, Anasol. Yeah. Cynthia, please go ahead.
For your presentation. I was wondering the same as Anasol. Maybe if the students had were in the place of an immigrant and things happen to them and they have to make decisions. For example, maybe it would hurt them sometimes. I think we have to think of that, but maybe they would feel more empathy after that. It would be nice to hear.
Yes, yes. Absolutely,
Yeah,
Cynthia. Thank you. Yes, please.
And I think that's also related. I don't know if you're familiar with the work of Mel Slater, that has done like extensive research in embodiment.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I think that will be really interesting to see after in the follow-up study.
Thank you, Ana Sol and Cynthia. Yes, that's the next step in the process. This was like a pilot study to see how the environments work, how they affected empathy. And then the idea is to create more empathy, then to explore cognitive empathy, which is related to perspective taking and of course to embodiment, and see how this might affect empathy about migrants in this context. So thank you. That's the next step. Thank you. Yeah. Great. Any other question? Good. Let me finish my screen sharing. Good. So okay, thank you very much. Well, I think that we can move to the next presentation. Let me move in here. Okay, so the next presentation is by Cynthia, and the title is Implementation of an XR Center in a Higher Education Institution in Brazil, a Case Study. So thank you very much for your participation, Cynthia, and welcome to this session, and the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. Are you seeing my screen?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So I'm Cynthia. I'm a full professor at Pontifical Catholic University of Paraná in Brazil, the same city as André, and my colleagues at São Justino and Alcides Calçavara. We've been working in this project. So this is a practitioner stream paper, implementation of an XR center in PUC-PR. So we are here, I'm here to present to you our challenges and what we are doing there, and maybe have some insights from you. So here is a map of Brazil, and Curitiba is here in the south, and it's a very beautiful city. And this is an image of PUC-PR library. And the motivation to this project that is called the XR Center project is that we had some challenges that started in 2019 and went up to 2021. We had an outdated full dome theater that was not being used at all. And after COVID, we needed to reconnect our students to our face-to-face undergraduate programs. We wanted kind of revitalize face-to-face programs that in Brazil are getting less and less important for students. Many of them are looking for distance education, and we wanted to give an upgrade in our programs. And our university has an history of innovation. So we started in 2016 with an undergraduate innovation program with many faculty development programs in active learning and new ways of building their syllabus around learning, not only around students. We changed all our curricula in 2017 to a competency-based curriculum. And after COVID, we had a huge faculty development on digital competencies, because we saw the difficulties that the faculty had to deal with the web conferences during COVID. So here in this picture, we have our outdated full-dome theater now it's updated. So we changed this with this project. So upstairs we have this full dome to watch 360 videos. And downstairs we have this kind of flexible room. We have this screen, curved screen. It has 12.5 meters long and 2.5 meters high. This already gives some immersive experiences with videos. And also the XR Center in PUC also has another building. The second floor of the most ancient building of the university was reformed and revitalized, and we have here some XR environments. So I'm going to show you some of these places. We didn't inaugurate it yet. It's going to be on June 5th. So I have some pictures. Then in this XR Center, we have a 12-meter diameter cave that is going to be used for immersive 360 videos. We also have a virtual production studio where we are going to place a LED wall. And the main objective here is to be able to produce better immersive experiences for our students, and also to be a place for learning to our communication and cinema undergraduate students, because we have these programs at the university. We have an immersive auditorium that also has these walls where we can make projections. We have 8 projectors, 4 in each wall. And we can remove all this furniture and make this auditorium much more flexible. In other times, we had 2 traditional auditoriums with the stage in front and all the fixed chairs, and all this was removed to make this immersive auditorium. We also have 8 of these that we are calling VR MR rooms. They are places with carpets and a few furniture that can be easily removed. And the idea is that the students can bring the HMD headset, the devices, so they can use these rooms to virtual or mixed reality experiences. And both before and after the immersive experiences, students need to talk about it. They need to prepare for it, and they need to talk about what happened in that experience, like a kind of debriefing. So we have some collaborative rooms of this kind, for example, with round tables. We also have this kind of room in which students can work in groups, and each table has its own screen. Maybe students can also have shared VR or MR experiences in these rooms also. because we can project the device image here in the screen, and so students can work in groups in some of these experiences. And this is a very more traditional debriefing room that our students from medical schools usually use to debrief their case studies. We have a group of developers creating some of these experiences. We have 4 experiences up to now. We have one that it was made with Microsoft Guides to HoloLens. And this is an experience here in the first picture. The student is learning how to use this electrical engineering equipment using the guide from Microsoft Guides. So this is a digital twin experience. We also have this VR experience that was made to a teacher on a physical education program. And the idea is to pre-train the students before they go to their internship. The videos were made in a gym with an athlete performing an exercise, and these spheres, student has to study each of these positions and check it out in a multiple choice question. What would they say to this athlete that he's doing right or wrong in the exercise? In this one, we have this bug here, down here. This was also built in HoloLens. Is for entomology studies, because our teacher from agronomic science, he never knew if the students were looking to the details of the bug that he wanted them to look, because the bugs are really very small. And then we have captured 3D models of real bugs and place them in HoloLens, so students can amplify it and still have very nice details of each small part of the bug. And the last one, this one here down on the left, this is a simulator made with MetaHuman from Unreal Engine. And this is a simulator for the medical school students because they need to practice the clinical interview. And here we have this video showing how the face capture really gets very nice. And we tested with students, and they really had the feeling that they were interviewing a real patient. The students in medical school already do this kind of role play and simulations. However, they already know the actor that usually does it, and the actor is always the same, and they go out with the actor to drink beer. And so when role play time comes, sometimes they don't take it so seriously. So the teacher of this course wanted to improve this, and we're going to try this semester this simulation with his students to see if learning improves. We have more experiences demanded and that are in line so that we can produce them. For example, we have one that is a 360 video about a very ancient case study used in law school. That is the case of the cave explorers. They get trapped in a cave, and they end up deciding to kill one of them to eat the meat. And after they leave the cave, and they are judged and convicted. So the law teachers, they wanted the students to understand the position, a kind of empathy, understand the position of someone that is trapped in a cave and has to make this decision. So we have a cinema teacher working with us. He prepared a story based on the book. And in this story, the students are going to feel part of it, but they have to make the decision of rolling the dice. That is what happens in the case, to roll the dice and decide who is going to be killed. So this is one kind of embodiment that we are trying to place in this situation here. We also have some demands from teachers to have 3D scans or 360 videos of places they usually can let the students, can bring the students to, for example, factories or surgery rooms. We have a VR horse handling training, so the teachers want us to build a VR experience in which if the student approaches the horse in a bad way, the horse is going to react. This is the objective is to train students before they go to deal with the real horse that is much more dangerous. And we also have an interactive movie about historical episode here, very important here in our state, and also a 360 videos of immersion in nature that biology teachers want students to really feel immersed in nature and try to be more empathic about climate change. This is a huge queue. So what we are trying to do also is to develop this kind of catalog. I started this catalog with the help of a teacher, I don't remember the name, but I met her in the last iLRN. She's a language teacher and she built a catalog for her, and she gave her catalog for me, and I started with that and amplified it, because if our teachers can find ready-to-use experiences, they can already use the rooms we are building without having to wait 6 months or a year, so that we can create the experiences. So I decided to place these experiences by areas, for example, engineering, health, and so on. We have in this development team, we have 4 collaborators that are programmers or game developers. We have some office hours from faculty members from engineering, cinema, design, computer sciences, and game development. Students from the university that are doing their internship with us, design, programming, and game development. We have 10 students. And sometimes we have some consultants, for example, to help us with this history experience. Challenges that we are finding, first of all, is this search for ready-to-use XR experiences, and most of them are in English, very few in Portuguese. And sometimes we have a very nice experience, but it only works in one device that we don't have. So this is very difficult for us. So choosing which HMD to buy, do we buy Quest, do we buy Pico, what's better to have? Maybe a few of many. We also have this faculty learning curve. We had more than 30 experiences demanded, but many of them we saw that were kind of substitutes of something very simple, they wouldn't probably have any impact on learning. So we are developing faculty and talking to them. When they come with this experience, we try to leverage these experiences to modification or redefinition of the learning task. We have 1 minute, okay. We have the developers learning curve. They're learning a lot yet. We need to document and give support to the experiences. We are searching for more financial support and for development partnerships because the team is very small. Thank you so much. Here are my contacts in LinkedIn and my email.
Thank you very much, Cynthia. Great. Thank you for this great presentation. Well, is there any question from the audience? Questions? Any question? I wanted to ask Cynthia about funding. I mean, I have to say that this looks a great XR center. It looks fantastic. I really liked the pictures or the photos about the 360 full dome and the cave. I think that you will have a very nice center for doing a lot of research in these topics. So because
Yes.
it looks great. I wanted to ask about funding. I mean, this center comes from governmental funding, or this was created only by the university? How it works in that?
We have some government funding, but kind of 10%. 90% is funded by the university.
Okay.
Up to now.
Okay, great. But it's it's a huge it's a huge center, and it looks great. I wanted to know a little bit about the financial part, because well, the development of these experiences could be very expensive. So
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
This is a huge risk that the university is taking.
Okay.
I think.
But you will have a very nice space for doing a lot of research, because the spaces looks great for doing a lot of research around this. So that's great.
Yes. However, the research really doesn't bring lots of money, so we need to find something else.
Well, maybe through research projects, through external funding, maybe. Yeah.
So just following from that comment, is the objective of that center just research, or are you also looking at producing applications that can go like to the public, or like products?
Yes, we want to bring more students. We want to make them learn more, to give our students more experiential learning experiences, and to be searched for industries, companies that come here and may use these environments. And we also want to open these environments for public education, children, for example, or high schools, and help developing our teachers from K to 12 and high school teachers.
Yeah, and thank you. I was thinking that perhaps because you have this amazing center and you have also the students, and it seems like a very it's like a hub of creativity and innovation where you can have like lots of opportunities. So I was thinking perhaps some sort of incubator in which you can bring, you can create new products with the students, and then you can bring investors to see if they are interested in the products, something like that. Because you are right, research it doesn't bring a lot of money. It's very difficult to get grants. So we think we need to think about differently sometimes. But yeah, thank you very much for sharing. It looks really exciting.
Thanks for the ideas.
I'm living here and I don't know this. I'm living in the same city, of PUC-PR. A lot of people around me lives or studying PUC-PR, and I don't know this fabulous project. My God, it's very, very beautiful place. My God, very exciting. But
you don't know because it's not open yet.
Yeah, of course. No, it's not it's not of public open. But the big problem said by Cynthia is around my research. For example, on last year, I went to Portugal, to make the RSL, Revisão Sistemática da Literatura, or LSR, Literature Systematic Review. Because here in Brazil, we cannot buy the devices like HoloLens. We cannot buy. You just buy from another farms, another ways. I will go to LA, and one of thing of this trip is buy a new HMD to do the sequence of the research, because we don't have the sellers. We don't have Best Buy like last presentation. We don't have Best Buy in Brazil. Okay, we have, but no, you don't have. This is a fabulous process of PUC-PR. Congratulations for us.
Come to know us.
For you, congratulations for you, teacher.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much, André, for your comment, and Cynthia for your presentation. Good. I think that if we are ready, we can move on to our next presentation. The next presentation has the title Mujer Aumentada, Augmented Woman, Promoting Participation in Augmented Reality Through Learning and Innovation. And the presenter is Karina Acuña. Karina, welcome to this stage. So the floor is yours, and you can start with your presentation. Thank you.
Ok, muchísimas gracias, Jorge. Voy a dar la presentación en español.
No hay
Entonces,
problema.
pues para los que de pronto quieran algo, pues ahí, digamos, ayúdame. Pero bueno.
Tranquila, no hay problema, dale, no hay problema.
Bueno, entonces voy a compartir pantalla en este momento. Me confirman cuando la estén viendo.
Ya se ve, creo que está cargando, ya está en modo presentación, sí.
¿Sí? ¿La estás viendo? Ok, perfecto. Bueno, listo, pues primero muchísimas gracias por estar en este espacio, y como dijo Jorge, pues la presentación es acerca de Mujer Aumentada. Y para dar inicio a esto, tenemos dos estudios. Un primer estudio hace parte de Microsoft, que a la respuesta ¿crees que lo digital está acabando con la capacidad de atención?, reveló una disminución en el promedio de atención de las personas de 12 segundos en el 2000 a 8 segundos después de una década y media. Hay algunos que este estudio no le han dado como mucha relevancia, porque hay algunas cosas que tal vez pudieran hacerse de una mejor manera, pero incluso lograron en algunos medios compararnos con que los peces tienen mayor atención que nosotros, los seres humanos, en este momento. Sin embargo, hay otro tipo de presentación de datos, cómo es que el efecto Flynn indicó un aumento en el coeficiente intelectual en el pasado, pero ahora se ha demostrado una disminución. Una posible causa de esa disminución, según la Universidad de Stanford, es la distracción excesiva que tenemos con los nuevos medios digitales y la falta de aprendizaje, ¿sí? Entonces, teniendo eso en cuenta, tenemos otros dos datos también que nos generan curiosidad. Según un estudio, el 10% de las cuentas de TikTok son creadoras de contenido. Entonces la pregunta es, ¿qué está haciendo el otro 90%? Y por otro lado, en Colombia, que es mi país de origen, es el cuarto país en el mundo que más consume redes sociales. Entonces ahí la pregunta es, pues, ¿cuándo estamos creando e innovando? Al parecer somos consumidores de información e incluso a veces creemos que estamos aprendiendo, ¿sí? Y eso es como en el general, tal vez aquellos que están en la academia tienen otra perspectiva, pero en general, a veces se dice, no, es que yo aprendo en TikTok o en Instagram, pero el asunto es que no estás colocando en práctica la mayoría de videos que ves. Entonces, es ahí donde, bueno, eso nos pone a preguntarnos. Entonces, quiero contarles primero quién soy. Yo soy Karina Cuña, soy directora de una compañía que se llama Chief Active, donde creamos videojuegos y realidades extendidas. También soy artista de realidad aumentada y soy ilustradora. Y hago parte de la junta directiva del International Game Developer Association en Colombia, que nos esforzamos por promover que más personas estén en industrias de videojuegos. Por otro lado, también soy pionera de la iniciativa Mujer Aumentada, que busca fomentar la creación de experiencias de realidad aumentada a través del uso de frameworks para promover el aprendizaje, la creatividad y la innovación. Esta iniciativa me permitió, además de mi experiencia en videojuegos, estar nominada en mi país, Colombia, en la categoría de innovación digital, en unos premios del Ministerio de las Tecnologías de la Información y las Comunicaciones. ¿Alguien está pidiendo la mano? No. Bueno.
No, no era un aplauso de Ana.
Ah, ok.
Dale, tranquilo.
Pero bueno, les cuento un poco de esta historia de cómo nació Mujer Aumentada. Pues en realidad esto nació en el 2020 en un evento que se llama el Women in Games que realizamos en la ciudad de Barranquilla, Colombia. Y el objetivo principal de esa iniciativa era incentivar a que estos jóvenes que iban a estar en ese lugar se involucraran en la creación de contenidos y negocios relacionados con las tecnologías de videojuegos y de realidades extendidas dirigido a videojuegos. En este primer encuentro contamos con la participación de mujeres de diversos perfiles, como influencers, comunicadoras políticas, diseñadoras de experiencia de usuario, gamers, personas relacionadas al tema audiovisual y obviamente desarrolladores de videojuegos como tal. Incluso habían desarrolladoras que venían de otras industrias, digamos, de software o aplicaciones. Y pues encontramos un gran interés en el sector de videojuegos y tecnologías XR. Y en ese proceso, pues creamos unas camisetas de realidad aumentada y creamos unas postales de realidad aumentada para acercar a las personas. Y les quiero contar, pues, qué fue lo que pasó. En realidad lo que pasó fue nada, no pasó nada, no pasó nada. ¿Por qué no pasó nada? Porque les costaba entender cómo manejar la realidad aumentada, tenían problemas para acceder a esas experiencias porque no era muy claro. En ese momento, digamos que el tema de toda la realidad aumentada que vemos en redes sociales, pues estaba también entrando como más en furor aquí, pues específicamente en Colombia, pero todavía como que faltaba el tema. Y entonces no nos dimos por vencidos y intentamos otra estrategia. Entonces nos aliamos con una ETEC, que es pues de aquí de Colombia, específicamente pues de Cartagena, que tenía pues una presencia en Latinoamérica y creamos la primera galería de NFT con realidad aumentada que apoyaba la formación académica de niñas y mujeres en tecnología, desarrollo profesional y marketing digital. Y dijimos, esto de verdad que esto sí va a lograr atraer a que más mujeres quieran meterse aquí, nosotros las apoyamos con este tema y quiero contarles qué pasó y no pasó nada. No pasó nada, nos fue mal, no logramos los objetivos que queríamos y eso nos hizo plantearnos como no, o sea, en realidad aquí necesitamos un proceso creativo para crear este producto digital y esto es lo que quiero como contarles en esta conferencia. Entonces, lo primero que hicimos fue plantearnos 3 preguntas. 1, ¿necesitan las personas la realidad aumentada? 2, las personas pueden usar la realidad aumentada. Y 3, es fácil para las personas acceder a la realidad aumentada. Y teniendo esas preguntas ahí, entonces dijimos, listo, vamos a hacer esto y utilizamos una herramienta que es el proceso de inteligencia interactiva, pero me va a enfocar obviamente por temas de tiempo en estos 2 pilares, el tema de inmersión y empatía. Entonces, ¿qué hicimos? En la parte de inmersión, literalmente nos fuimos a investigar en el escritorio, ¿cierto? Google, y empezamos a buscar qué referentes de mujeres habían en el ecosistema que pudieran generar esa llamada de atención a otras mujeres, incluso a otros jóvenes, para poder empezar a experimentar. Y aquí nos dimos cuenta que hay muchos referentes, en realidad en Latinoamérica también, pero nos encontramos con estos 2 referentes que casualmente son 2 europeas y nos generó curiosidad pues todo el movimiento que en Europa se está haciendo y dijimos, bueno, ok, estas son 2 referentes que quisiéramos como enfocarnos. Y lo otro que nos empezamos a hacer es como esa evaluación heurística de cómo son los filtros que ellas hacen, cómo ellos acercan la realidad aumentada a las personas, qué plataformas utilizan. Empezamos a utilizar los filtros que ellas hacían y empezamos a generar un poco más de insight frente a lo que necesitábamos entender para poder realmente hacer una difusión del tema de realidad aumentada. Además de todo, también vimos, bueno, las diferentes plataformas que a hoy incluso son low code, es decir, no necesitas saber programar para poder acceder a ellas y ahí empezamos a ver como, ok, aquí hay una oportunidad. Entonces en eso dijimos, bueno, lo que primero tenemos que hacer es salir a preguntar qué es lo que la gente tiene frente al tema de realidad aumentada. Entonces aquí lo que hicimos fue una estrategia para poder captar la atención de personas. Nosotros en la iniciativa Mujer Aumentada habíamos hecho unas ilustraciones, le dijimos a la inteligencia artificial, interprétalas y esas interpretaciones les dijimos a las personas que nos colaboraban que se los entregábamos totalmente gratis para que los usaran. Y adicionalmente, pues ahí empezamos a descubrir algo muy, muy interesante en esta investigación que hicimos. Bueno, utilizamos un recurso que se llama el UX Survey Canvas, que es muy bueno para este tipo de cosas. Y encontramos lo siguiente, que me pareció muy interesante. Y cuando vimos esto fue como, oh, estamos viendo la luz. Lo primero, del 41% de personas que encuestamos, el 30% eran mujeres. Se encontró que el 40% de las encuestadas no utilizaban filtros de realidad aumentada debido a la falta de conocimiento sobre su uso, un punto importante. El otro 54% lo usaba rara vez en las redes sociales. El 36% de los encuestados consideraba que estos filtros son una herramienta divertida y entretenida para experimentar con esa tecnología. El 55% prefiere los filtros más populares, que son los animados. Y en un evento que lanzó Medeiros, o sea, toda la empresa está de Meta, en un lanzamiento de realidad aumentada, aquí específicamente en Bogotá, reveló que el 1% de los usuarios en Instagram y Facebook utilizan realidad aumentada en los contenidos que publican. Entonces, cuando vimos ese dato y lo contrastamos también con nuestra encuesta, dijimos, pues no estamos tan alejados frente a una realidad, que es que si bien hay un interés en la realidad aumentada, es crucial educar a los usuarios sobre cómo utilizarla y demostrar su valor práctico para su adopción generalizada. Entonces, aquí esta información, toda esa información nos permitió ver mejor a quién deberíamos dirigirnos para poder generar esos contenidos y poder también como cambiar un poco esa estadística que vimos al comienzo, ¿cierto? De que solo somos consumidores, no creamos contenido y entonces hicimos un protopersona, el cual le llamamos Natalia. y comenzamos a enfocar las soluciones de Mujer Aumentada en el desarrollo de estrategias creativas adecuadas para sanar los dolores de Natalia, experimentando con este tema de la realidad aumentada, ¿sí? Y cómo podíamos a través de esta realidad aumentada, pues, tenerle como esa medicina total a las frustraciones y motivarla a utilizar la realidad aumentada, porque es que ahí es donde también no es solamente el crear, sino que también ellas puedan acercarse a entender cómo funcionan este tipo de tecnologías. Y bueno, como nos gusta el tema de la inteligencia artificial, le dijimos a la inteligencia pues que nos representara cómo podía lucir Natalia. Y entonces, con esta comunicación empezó a ser más efectiva y empezamos a crear filtros utilizando el framework de Metaspark y desarrollando esta realidad aumentada sin código, atrayendo a mujeres de que podía ser sencillo el poder crear este tipo de filtros de realidad aumentada. Y en ese proceso, pues salimos, ¿cierto? A ver a las chicas cómo se sentían identificadas y nos permitió ver cómo ellas cuando interactúan con los filtros de realidad aumentada se genera en ellas esa expresión de entusiasmo y curiosidad sobre el proceso de creación de esos filtros. Empiezan a preguntarse cómo esto me puede servir para comunicar mis ideas, mis proyectos. Usualmente algunas tienen sus proyectos de emprendimiento pequeños, e incluso en una conferencia en la que estuvimos se me acercó Natalia en realidad, en la vida real, y me dijo, yo quiero aprender de eso, y le pregunté que cómo se llamaba y me dijo, me llamo Natalia. Entonces fue como, ok, estamos haciendo algo bien en este sentido. Fuimos seleccionados en Lendlist, que es una comunidad muy importante en Europa que premia este tipo de filtros, ¿cierto? Y también muestra cómo estos filtros pues pueden realmente utilizarse. Adicionalmente también participamos en algunas hackathons y entendimos la importancia de crear los filtros, porque es que si no hay filtros interesantes, si no hay experiencias interesantes, pues no tenemos primero ese primer contacto de curiosidad. Entonces, debido a ello y debido a las diferentes sí, como preguntas acerca de esa curiosidad, dijimos, bueno, creamos nuestro primer masterclass para enseñarles a hacer su primer filtro de realidad aumentada en la que ellos no tendrían que tener conocimientos previos, hacerlo muy sencillo, utilizando Metaspark. Y actualmente pues estamos generando más oportunidades de aprendizaje similares a esta para que las personas puedan tener como más cercanía a este tema de realidad aumentada. Adicionalmente también creamos algunas ilustraciones con realidad aumentada que están soportadas en consejos de emprendedores y experiencias de vida, porque nuestro propósito también es empoderar a las mujeres a proporcionarles herramientas y conocimientos que las impulsen en ese camino de tomar decisiones de liderazgo, ¿sí? También en el desarrollo personal y profesional. Entonces también con ello nació la idea de tener unas camisetas con una frase que adoptamos que era, mira las cosas que no son como si existieran, y aquí la tengo, es la misma camiseta que está ahí de realidad aumentada. Y porque esta es la forma en que vemos también la realidad aumentada, es como una expresión de que queremos transmitir la capacidad de la realidad aumentada para transformar y dar vida de lo que antes era invisible, abriendo un movimiento pues de posibilidades creativas. También en ese proceso empezamos a generar tutoriales cortos de 2 minutos para que también pudieran ver que es fácil entrar, ¿sí? Es fácil entrar en esto. Y adicionalmente empezamos a crear recursos que ellas pueden bajar y empezar a explorar con esos recursos, ¿sí? Para que ellas también puedan ver los mismos filtros de Mujer Aumentada y los puedan bajar y experimentar, modificar y hacer lo que ellas deseen también con este material. Adicionalmente también entendimos la necesidad de certificarnos a nosotros como creadores de Metaspark, porque de esa misma manera pues podemos guiar a esta nueva generación que queremos crear también a través de esto, obviamente desde también mi testimonio, puesto que pues estaba en realidad aumentada hace más de 10 años y he visto la transformación. Empezamos con Flash y después empezamos con Unity y después ya tenemos como todas estas herramientas que nos permiten democratizar un poco la realidad aumentada, porque pues era en realidad, eso era una barrera que había y que todavía existe por, pues bueno, por todos los retos que incluso requiere pues tener teléfonos que soporten ciertas tecnologías y bueno, en realidad virtual en realidad vemos más ese tipo de retos que tenemos que superar. Entonces, pues quiero que nos quedemos con unas conclusiones. La primera es que existe interés en la realidad aumentada, pero es crucial educar a los usuarios cómo utilizarlas y demostrar su valor práctico para su adopción generalizada, ¿sí? Para que todos podamos decir, sí he utilizado la realidad aumentada en algo y no me costó tampoco, o sea, no es, también es que hay un concepto de como que eso es para personas que tienen como un desempeño intelectual superior al mío y ese es el asunto en el que queremos como romper esa brecha de que no, de que en realidad todos podemos crear a través de nuestras ideas. Entonces ahí es la segunda conclusión, la realidad aumentada permite fomentar la innovación porque de ahí es donde empiezan a salir esas ideas y puedo transformar incluso, que es lo que hace la realidad virtual, mis espacios, ¿cierto? A través de esas ideas como tal. Y el 3 es que el enfoque en el aprendizaje, así como la colaboración, capacitación de las mujeres para el liderazgo y la toma de decisiones, son elementos claves para lograr una mayor diversidad y equidad en el sector tecnológico, ¿sí? Porque muchas mujeres también no se sienten identificadas en este tipo de espacios, incluso siendo diseñadoras gráficas. Yo soy diseñadora gráfica, pero por varias cosas de mi experiencia amé la interacción y rompí como esa barrera. Entonces esa barrera es la que me gustaría que mis colegas también rompieran, porque sí es algo que he visto mucho desde que salimos de la academia, ¿sí? Y adicionalmente porque este tipo de tecnologías pues no hay en este momento, incluso en videojuegos, no hay unas carreras profesionales en esto, ¿no? Esto es algo que se está creando. Entonces es importante pues ese aprendizaje, esa capacitación y esa toma de decisiones. Definitivamente estamos en modo work in progress, sabemos que tenemos mucho por explorar, por aprender, por trabajar en esto para poder empezar a borrar estas barreras, pero sí, en realidad tenemos que empezar y la mejor forma que empezamos fue con esta iniciativa. Los invito a que nos sigan en mujeraumentada.com y bueno, estos son mis contactos, les agradezco mucho el tiempo y pues la atención en este espacio. Muchísimas gracias.
Vale, Karina, muchas gracias. Genial la presentación y muy interesante todo lo que estás haciendo con Mujer Aumentada. Bueno, ya hemos conversado un poco antes del tema y demás. Muchas gracias, muy
A
interesante,
ti.
muy chévere.
Gracias,
Su-
Jorge.
Súper. Listo. ¿Alguna pregunta de parte del auditorio? Any question? Is there any question?
Karina, ¿las personas utilizan los filtros que tú dibujas o ellas pueden hacerlos?
Correcto. Nosotros lo que estamos haciendo es, primero hacemos los filtros para traerlas, ¿cierto? Y después les decimos, mira, acá puedes descargar el filtro para que tú experimentes con él y
Ah,
puedas
ok.
crearlo, modificarlo y esa es como el interés ahí. Gracias.
Ujú.
Vale, gracias, Cintia. ¿Y alguna otra pregunta?
No, no tengo ninguna pregunta. Solo quería felicitarte, Karina. Es un proyecto muy, muy interesante
Gracias.
y realmente me parece espectacular lo que estás haciendo. Esta idea que estabas comentando de que se necesita cierto como background en ciertas cosas, por ejemplo, computación o saber programar o cosas así, es definitivamente una barrera muy importante para cualquier persona, pero siento que también es algo que limita mucho a las mujeres a acercarse a la tecnología. Entonces creo que esta
Correcto.
interfase que estás creando, este modelo de educar y empoderar a las personas para que se puedan acercar a este tipo de tecnologías sí, es genial, me gusta mucho. Tal vez la única pregunta que tengo es, ¿qué opinas tú acerca de los filtros porque lo que entiendo es que el proyecto se ocupa de acercar a las mujeres con filtros de realidad aumentada en social media. ¿Tú qué
¿Correcto?
opinas de los filtros? Porque ha habido también mucha investigación, muchas noticias acerca de que los filtros de realidad aumentada, particularmente los de Instagram, que te cambian las facciones, que te cambian la manera en que cómo luces, están afectando mucho a la salud mental de las mujeres, particularmente las mujeres jóvenes, que son las que los usan más seguido. ¿Tienes tú
Correcto.
algún comentario al respecto?
Sí, en realidad no estoy de acuerdo. O sea, no estoy de acuerdo que hagan eso, ¿no? O sea, no estoy de acuerdo que en realidad se te modifiquen como partes de tu cara, a no ser de que sea algo gracioso o que de verdad quieras comunicar algo diferente, ¿no? O sea, de pronto, no sé, si me pongo una cara con unos ojos gigantes para mostrar cómo mira las cosas desde más allá o algo así, pues ok, sí, porque tienes como un significado. Y por eso también nuestros filtros de realidad aumentada son más interactivos, son más de que por ejemplo, este filtro que hicimos acá, que te lo muestro, espérate un segundo, que creo que es este que tengo acá. Este filtro se llama esencia, ¿sí? ¿Por qué? Porque es que es como esa similitud de que todas somos en esencia esas flores, ¿cierto? Entonces, mira que en realidad estamos modificando algo digamos, de nuestro rostro, pero estamos comunicando algo acerca de la esencia de nosotras como mujeres, incluso en el emprendimiento tecnológico, ¿sí? Y es ahí donde nosotras queremos como que se vean identificadas en que las cosas hay que hacerlas con un significado y no es, ay, porque, no sé, me cambio, ¿no? Porque es que hay veces que te cambian como que te ponen la boca más grande, como, ¿cierto? Los ojos más grandes, o sea, te modifican lo que tú eres y en realidad eso es lo que no queremos. Mujer aumentada siempre va a estar frente al tema creativo, ¿no? Hacia ese tema creativo de explotar todo lo que tu mente se imagine, que tú digas, yo lo puedo hacer en realidad aumentada, porque veo las cosas que no son como si fueran, ¿sí? Como si existieran.
Ok, gracias. Sí, y también, bueno, me gustaría contactarte después para ver si podemos colaborar con tu proyecto. Me gustó mucho.
Claro que sí, Ana Sol. Ahí en Instagram, Mujer Aumentada, ahí estoy. Me puedes mandar mensajes, lo que tú quieras, ahí estoy súper disponible.
Gracias.
Vale. Gracias a ti.
Perfecto. Súper, muchas gracias, Ana Sol, Karina, y a los demás por su asistencia. Listo, no sé bueno, no sé si por último hay alguna otra pregunta. ¿Listo? ¿Alguna otra duda? Listo. De momento creo que hemos terminado las presentaciones de esta sesión. Muchas gracias a todos por su participación, muchas gracias por su asistencia a iLRN 2023. Entonces, pues un gusto saludarlos a todos. Muchas gracias para todos.